Military service, we think right now, if you're in the service, if someone says my son or daughter's in the service, you immediately think uniform service. If someone is a veteran, you think a veteran of military service. And I'm not sure that we haven't allowed that terminology to become too narrow. Because if we really think about it, just as Seth described and Michelle as well, what we really need is a much broader set of capabilities without everybody being in uniform, because one, you don't need them in uniform, and that's not where the talent is best, their talent's best focused. But yet their service should be like two sides of the same coin. Military service and other service ought to be equally respected, it ought to be equally rewarded, and it ought to be equally encouraged. And so when we think about it, when a person comes of age, the discussion around the dinner table should be, so where are you planning to serve? And any of these spectrum things would be fine. When we try to articulate, and I think I do a poor job, I talk about citizenship being the sinew that ties together a nation and what gets people to do things and what gets people to work together. And it's that kind of an organization that, as Michelle said, is resilient and can deal with emerging problems, because you can never anticipate all those problems. The challenge with that is you are talking about investing in something that's not as easily objectively counted as military units or things like that. And also, we tend to look at crises in short-term fashion. We think of ISIS as a crisis, an existential crisis. In the great scheme of existential crises, I don't think it is one. I think it is a problem in the world, but it's not a crisis. There are some crises that face America. One is our inability to govern ourselves now effectively. Could be a crisis if it continues. I think education is the kind of thing that can be a crisis that weakens our nation. So getting the narrative so that we can put in perspective those things which really matter, because a lot of your solutions take a long time. We are talking about something where we're investing in a number of generations year after year, and the payoff comes in decades, not in a year or two. And it's harder, I think, to mobilize people to invest in that kind of thing if the payoff is longer